In this lecture, we are going to discuss some important problems in nuclear physics relevant to JEE as well as NEET examinations. Now let us take the first question, question number 1. The set which represents the isotopes, isobars and isotones respectively is. So there are 3 sets of nuclei given. Option A, B, C, D. There are 4 options are also given. Now first let us understand what is isotope. So what is isotope? Isotope means here 2 nuclei have same proton number, that is same Z. So same proton number, same proton number is represented by Z. Now in the word isotope you see a letter P, same proton number. So if there is a P in the isotope, so you can easily understand, you can keep the idea in your mind that if P is present in that letter, the proton number is the same, that is the same Z number. So in that way, some trick or something that some trick must be used to understand or in your mind. So if P, the letter P is there, so that means same proton number. So first thing is isotope. So you consider the term in the first bracket. So same proton number means Z. So if any nuclei is represented by X is the chemical symbol for the element, and this is atomic number and this is the proton number. So here Z is the same. So this is an isotope. This is not an isotope because here 2 is present and here 1 is present. So this is not an isotope. Whereas this is also the third, C is also not the isotope. But if you consider D, again same is Z. So the option A or D in the first term is correct, the isotope. Now the second term in the bracket is isobar. Isobar means 2 nuclei having the same mass number A. So in the isobar, you can see that there is a letter A. So if isobar means this A corresponds to same mass number. Now, so if you term corresponding to the second, the bracket or the second term in all the 4 options, this is A. Here AU 197, A is 197 for mercury 198, so A is different. So this is not possible. Again this is 197, 198, not possible. Here 2, 3. Here this is 2, 3, so this is not possible. Whereas this is 3, this is 3, therefore isobar. So the second one is isobar. So the first one is isotope, second one is isobar. So this is only option here, D is the correct one for the 2 cases, and you can easily check the third one also, isotone. Isotone, there is N here, so same neutron number. Here again, neutron number. So this is N. Neutron number is equal to A minus Z. A minus Z is neutron number. So for the first element, 197 is your A, and this is Z. So 197 minus 79 is 118. Here 198 minus 80. So 198 minus 80 is 118. So for these 2 elements, the Z number, N number is the same. The neutron number is the same. Therefore this is isotope. So this is isotope. This is isotope. Isobar and isotope. Therefore the option D is a correct one. Then let us go to the second problem. The ratio between radii of nuclei with mass number 27 and 125 is, there are four options are given. So in order to find this one, the radius of the nuclei is given by this expression, R is equal to R naught into F power by 3, where R naught is 1.2 into 10 power minus 15 meter, or 1.2 Fermi. So this is R naught into, in the first case, for the first nuclei, R1 is equal to R naught, A is 27, so 27 whole power 3, 27 whole power 3 is, say 27 whole power 1 by 3 is equal to 3 power 3 is 27 whole power 1 by 3, which is 3. So this is R naught 3. If you consider another nuclei R2, R naught 125 whole power 1 by 3, so 125 is equal to 5 power 3, 5 power 3 whole power 1 by 3 is 5. So find the ratio, this is 3 by 5. So R1 is to R2 is equal to 3 is to 5, therefore the option B is the correct one. Now let us go for the third problem. The mass of neutron and proton are, say, 1.008 AMU. So this mass is given, for the mass of proton is also given. The protons, the neutron and protons combine to form a helium nucleus, and the mass of the helium nucleus is also given. The binding energy of helium nucleus will be, so in terms of energy, one atomic mass unit is equal to 931 MeV. So in terms of MeV, they are asked to find the binding energy. So there are four options are given. Now here, in order to form helium nucleus, you need 2 neutron and 2 proton. So 2 neutron and 2 proton forms a single helium nucleus. Now the mass of the helium nucleus, this is given 4.015. This is given here, so much atomic unit, and minus. So this is the product one, and this is the two initial one. The mass of the neutron, 2 times the mass of the neutron plus 2 times the mass of the proton. So we have to subtract from the mass of the helium. So 2 times mass of the neutron, this is given as 1.0087, and the mass of the proton is given 1.0073. So the difference in mass is called as the mass defect. So delta M you can calculate. So the expression for the binding energy is mass defect delta M into C square, and here delta M is pound, that can be calculated in terms of AMU, and delta M into 1 AMU is equal to 931 MeV. So find the delta M and multiply by 931, you get 28.4 MeV in this case. Therefore the option A is the correct one. Next we go to the this problem 4. The binding energy of deuteron, which is 1H2, is 1.112 MeV per nucleon. So this is per nucleon. An alpha particle has a binding energy 7.044 per nucleon. Then in the fusion reaction, there are two deuteriums at nucleus, 1H2 and 1H2. These two combine to form a helium, and plus this is the Q element reaction. Q, the energy Q is the energy release. So the energy equivalent of alpha particle, first we have to calculate the energy equivalent of alpha particle. Alpha particle you have 4 nucleons. So for per nucleon the energy is given 7.041. So there are 7.041 per nucleon. There are 4 nucleons in the alpha. For nucleons is the sum of protons and neutrons. So the A number will be the total number of nucleons. So 4, if you multiply by 4, you will get 28.188 MeV. Energy equivalent of deuteron, 1H2, because there are 2 deuteron that combines to give 1 helium. There are for one deuteron you have two nucleons. There are two deuterons. There are four nucleons again. So the mass of the energy per nucleon is 1.112. There are four nucleons. So multiply, you will get the total energy corresponding to the two deuterons. Once if you subtract, you will find 23.74 MeV. So this difference is what? So the energy released in Q is 23.74. So the option C, this is the correct option. Next we go to the problem number 5. 4 atoms of hydrogen combine to form helium atom with the release of energy of there are 4 options are given. So the proton-proton cycle is given by the following set of equations. So one proton and one proton combine to get one deuteron plus a positron plus neutrino plus the 0.42 MeV. So this is one equation. This positron combines with the electron gives 2 gamma radiation plus 1.02 MeV, and this deuteron plus this is one proton. This combines helium 2, Z value 2 and A value 3, this helium, plus gamma plus this ionized helium, plus 5.49 MeV, then 2 helium, the ionized helium, 2 Z number 2 and A number 3. So 2 such nucleus combined with the helium atom. This is 2, Z value is 2 and A value is 4. So plus one proton and one proton. Finally, and at the same time it releases the energy 12.86 MeV. So these are the 4 set of reactions in order to form the helium nuclei from the 4 protons. So for the reaction, for the 4th reaction to occur, so the first 3 reactions must occur twice. So the first equation is occur twice, 2 into 1 into the second equation, 2 into 2, and the third equation, 3 into 4, and plus 4. You add this equation. So you 2 into 1, 2 into 2, plus 2 into 3, that occurs twice, plus 4, equation number 4. If you add, the net effect is this equation. 4 highly hydrogen atom, 4 proton, this is 1 H1 hydrogen nuclei, 2E minus, plus that gives the helium nucleus 2He4 plus 2 neutrino plus 2 gamma, 6 gamma plus 26.7 MeV. So the energy released because of this fusion reaction is 26.7 MeV. So 4 hydrogen nuclei gives 1 helium nuclei with a release of 26.7 MeV. So these are the 4 equations. Now, thus the 4 hydrogen atom combine to form this 1 helium atom with a release of 26.7 MeV. So the option A is correct. Now this can be easily checked, because once if we multiply the equation 1 into 2, 2 into 2, 3 into 2, and 4, if we add, then that right side and left side, the equal number of nuclei can be cancelled. So the same nuclei present in right side and same nuclei present in left side may be cancelled if you add all the 4 equations. Finally, you are getting this equation. Okay, now let us go for the next problem. Question number 6. The following fusion reaction takes place. So one deuterium here, and this is another deuterium, gives the helium 2He3 plus a neutron plus 3.27 MeV. If 2 kilogram of deuterium, so here this is a 2 kilogram of deuterium, is subjected to the above reaction, the energy released is used to light a 100-watt lamp. So the energy is used to light the 100-watt lamp. How long will the lamp glow? So there are the options are 2 into 10 power 6 years, 3 into 10 power 5 years, 5 into 10 power 4 years, and 7 into 10 power 3 years. So there are 4 options are there. Now here, now let us call, because you have to calculate the number of atoms present in the 2 kilogram of deuterium. Since the atomic number A is 2, so here for deuterium, you see, for deuterium A is 2. So A is 2. So if you want to calculate the number of atoms, the number of atoms for the 2 grams of deuterium is the Avogadro number. So 6.023 into 10 power 3. So if A, atomic weight A grams of deuterium contains 6.023 10 power 3 atoms. So number of atoms in 2 kilograms. So for 2 grams, this is 6.023 10 power 3. For 200 grams, this is 2 kilo, then this is the total number of atoms. 26 upon 0.023 10 power 26. So first we have to calculate the number of atoms. Now energy released in the fusion of 2 deuterium nuclei. This is 3.27 MeV. This is given. So total energy released in the fusion of deuterium is equal to. So for one deuterium, this is 3.27 divided by 2. And since there are 6 in the 10 power 6.023 in 10 power 26 atoms, so you have to multiply 6.023 into 26. So you will get the total energy in terms of MeV. So for 3.2 MeV for 2 deuterium nuclei, and 6.023 in 10 power 6 nuclei, and this is the total number of total amount of energy in terms of MeV. If you convert the MeV into joule, 1 MeV is equal to 10 power 6 GeV. 1 GeV is equal to 1.6 10 power minus 19 joule. So once if you substitute, you will get the result in joules, and the energy released is in joules. 15.75 10 power 13 joules. Energy is released. Now the power of the bulb is given, because 100-watt bulb is used. Watt means joule per second. So in terms of joule per second, this is 100. Time for which the bulb will glow is the power into time is equal to energy, or time is equal to energy per power. The energy that we have calculated 15.75 10 power 13, and the power is 100. So once if we divide, you will get this one 15.75 10 power 11 seconds. And if you want to convert this seconds into a year, 60 you have to divide this number by 60 minutes into 60 seconds, 60 seconds into 60 minutes into 24 hours into 365 days. So you will get the 60 into 60 into 24 into 365 is the amount of seconds for 1 year. So if you divide this value, you will get the result in years. So 5 into 10 power 4 years. So this is option C is correct. So in order to find the time in the years, you have to divide by these numbers. The next question is atomic weight of boron. This is given, and it has 2 isotopes, 5B10. So the atomic number A is equal to 10 is one value, A is equal to 11 is another value, and the rate of 5, 6 5b10 is to 6b11 in nature would be. So there are 4 options are given. Now let the percentage of boron term be x. So x be the percentage of this boron, and the average atomic weight can be calculated. So if x is the percentage of boron, so the 100 minus x will be the percentage of boron 11. So if x is the percentage of boron term, then 100 minus x will be the percentage of boron 11. Therefore, the atomic weight for boron 10 is 10. So 10 into its percentage x by 100 plus for another isotope this is 11. So 11 into 100 minus x divided by 100. So these two will be your average atomic weight, and the average atomic weight is given as 1.81. Now you solve this equation, you will get the x value, and x is equal to 19, and 100 minus x is equal to 81. Therefore, the number of borons with the atomic number atomic weight A number 10 is to n, and the number of boron with 11, A value 11. So this ratio is calculated as 19 is to 81, which is the option B. So in this way you can calculate this ratio of number. The next question is pick the mirror isobars from the nuclei. Now here, as we already told, the isobar, so same G. So if you consider the first option, this is 12 12. For the option B, again A is 15 15. For option C is 17 17. For option D is 15 17. So D can be eliminated because this is not the isobar. So the answer may be within A, B and A. But here the important thing is this is a mirror. So for mirror nuclei means nuclei having the same mass number, but with a different proton number and the neutron number. The neutron number is A minus Z. So neutron number is A minus Z, and they are interchanged. And this is called as a mirror nuclei. So if you take nitrogen, Z number 7, A number 15, so Z7 here, and what is the neutron number? Neutron number is equal to A minus Z. A is equal to 15. So 15 minus 7 is equal to A. So this is, so if Z number is 7, neutron number is 8. For oxygen 15, Z 8, A 15. So Z 7, N value again here, N is equal to 15 minus 8. So this is 7. So for one nuclei, the value of Z, which is 7, corresponds to the N number for the other nuclei. So that is possible for this case also. So in this case, the Z for the first one, this nitrogen with the Z is equal to 7. For oxygen, the N is equal to 8. So at the same time, the N value for nitrogen is 8, and Z for the oxygen, this is 8. So if this is there is an interchange, then this is called as a mirror nuclei. So among the 4 options, B is correct. So you must understand what is the meaning of mirror nuclei. So the different is the proton number Z and the neutron number A minus Z are interchanged between the two nucleus. They are called as the mirror nucleus. Now we will discuss the next question. When uranium A number 235, Z number 92 undergoes fission, 0.1% of its original mass is changed into energy. How much energy is released if 1 kilogram of uranium undergoes fission? So the 4 options are given. Now the delta M, because this is a 0.1%, so this is a 0.1 by 100, and since it is a 1 kilogram, so 0.01 by 100 into 1. So this is your delta M, the change in mass, and the energy will be delta M into C square. So 0.01 by 100 into C is 3 into 10 power 8 whole square. So if you multiply, you will get the value 9 into 10 power 13 joules. So the option D is the correct. Question number 10. A nucleus Z number, proton number Z and mass number A has a mass represented by this M, A, comma Z. This M, A, comma Z. So the mass of this nucleus is represented by the symbol A for the mass number, Z for the number of protons. If MP and Mn denotes the mass of proton and neutron respectively, the binding energy in the nucleus. So the binding energy is mass defect into C square. So what is the mass defect? M, this is the M of A comma Z is the mass of the element, minus the element is having Z protons, each proton is having mass M suffix P. So this is the total number of mass of protons. A minus Z is the number of neutrons. So A minus Z and Mn will be the total number of total mass of the neutrons. So if you subtract, you will get the mass defect, and if you multiply by C square, and this is the binding energy. So this expression is the correct one, and when compared to the other thing. If you consider option D, this is only a delta M. So this is delta M, and since the C square is not present in option D, so D is a wrong option. The first option, this mass defect is multiplied by C square. Therefore, because you are asked to find the binding energy, so therefore, the option A is the correct one. Now let us go for the problem number 11. In the following reaction, the value of X is. So there are the nuclear reaction is given. So if you want to find X, just equate the A number. So the superscript A number is given. So this is 14 plus A. So this is 18 before the reaction. After the reaction, you are having 1. And therefore, if you want to calculate this A must be 18 minus 1, which is equal to 7. For Z, if you sum the Z number for the two nucleus, which is 9, and here you have the Z value is 1. So 9 minus 1 is equal. So this is your Z. So A value is equal to 17, and this Z value is 8. But here there are two options are there, A option, B option, having same Z and same A. So since in the left hand side already nitrogen is present, and here this must be only oxygen 70, because normally the oxygen Z value will be, this is 8 and 16, and therefore this is 18, 17 is the correct one. So this is correct. Then you go for the next problem. Question number 18. Yeah, freshly, because these are the problems under the heading of radioactive. So we will discuss some problems of radioactivity in this. A freshly prepared radioactive sample, a half-life is given as 4 hours, which emits the radiation of intensity 64 times the safe level, the minimum hours which it could be safe to work with it is. There are 4 options are given. Now let I not be the intensity for the safe level. Uh, then so this is let I yes be the intensity of the safe level. Then I naught is equal to 64 times as is. So this is the safe level. 64 times safe level is your I naught. Now I by I naught, that is given as 1 by 64, which is n by n. So here this is I. Now here this n by n naught, this ratio n by n naught is, we already know that, which is 1 by 2 whole power n, where n is the number of half-life periods. Number of half-life periods is defined by the total time divided by the half-life time. T by T half is equal to half-life. The T suffix half is the half-life period. So n will be T by T half. So n is called as the total number of half-life periods. Therefore, this 1 by 64 is equal to 1 by 2 whole power n. 1 by 64 is 1 by 2 whole power 6. So 1 by 2 whole power 6 is equal to 1 by 2 again. So therefore n must be 6. The half-life period is 6. But since t is equal to n times half-life period, and this is 6 times, the half-life period is given as 4. So 6 into 4, which is the 24 hours. So the option D is correct. Then you take the problem or next problem. A radioactive nucleus undergoes a series of decay according to this scheme. So this is A goes to, after decay of alpha particle, it goes to A1. Then after the decay of beta, it goes to A2. Again after the decay of alpha, it goes to A3. And finally after emission of gamma, finally it reaches A4. The mass number and the atomic number of A are 180 and 72 respectively. So the mass number is given and the atomic number is given. Then the numbers for A4. So what is the number for A4? This is the question. So if you take the first one, X, A value, and this is Z value. Here there is an emission of alpha. Alpha is a helium nuclei, 2He4. So after the emission of alpha, A is reduced by A minus 4 and Z is reduced by Z minus 4. Then it emits the beta. Beta means electron. Electron, the A value is 0 and the Z value is minus 1. So the product gives an element whose mass number is not changed, whereas the charge number is increased by 1. So Z minus 1. Previously it is minus 2. Since here Z is equal to minus 1, this Z means for this element. Again there is an emission of alpha particle. So A value will be again decreased by 4. So it becomes A minus 8 and Z value will be again decreased by 2. So Z minus 3. Gamma radiation, because of gamma radiation there is no change of A as well as Z. So the final end product, is X4, the element, is A value is A minus Z and Z value is Z minus 3. So if you look at the options, this is the correct answer. So the option A. So because A minus Z. A is given as 180. So 180 minus 8 is about 172. And Z minus 3. Z is given as, so from Z minus 3, this is equal to 69. So this is the correct answer. So they are 172, 69. So the option A is the correct. Next question, question number 14. The half-life of a radioactive element which has 1 by 32 times of the original mass left after a lapse of 60 days is. So there are 4 options are given. Now n by nr. So this is an important formula you must remember. So often once you use this formula, the problem may be calculated very easily. So n by nr is equal to 1 by 2 times whole power n, where n is the half-life periods, which is defined by the total time is equal to n times the half-life period. So here n is equal to 1 by 32 times nr. So this is given. So 1 by 32 is equal to n by nr. N by nr is equal to 1 by 32. 1 by 32 is 1 by 2 whole power 5. 1 by 2 whole power 5 is 32. So 1 by 2 whole power n is equal to 1 by 2 whole power n. So n must be 5. So if n is available and the total time period is given as 60 days, the period is total half number of periods is equal to 5. Therefore from this t by n, the half-life period can be calculated, which is 12 days. So the option is correct. The next question, question number 15. The half-life of this element is 210, which is the half for this element. This is 5 days. For bismuth 210 is 5 days. What is the time taken by 7 by 8 part of the sample to decay? So there are 4 options. Now it is important to know that the fraction left is important. The fraction left is equal to n by n. So from here 7 by 8 part of the sample is decayed. So the fraction left is 1 minus 7 by 8. So this is the most important. Fraction left must be calculated. N by nr is the fraction left, which is since 7 by 8 part decayed. So 1 minus 7 by 8, which is equal to 1 by 8. So this is important. The fraction left must be calculated, and which is equal to 1 by 8, and n by n naught is equal to 1 by 8. 1 by 8 is 1 by 2 whole power 3. So n is equal to 3, and t is equal to the period into the number of half-life period into t half, which is 3 into 5, which is 15 days. So the option C is the correct one. So once if you use this formula, this expression, then you can calculate the, you can solve this problem very easily. The next question, half-life radioactive sample, when activity of the material initially was 8 counts and after 3 hours becomes 1 count. You are asked to find the half-life period. The activity is defined by, activity is equal to lambda times n, and lambda is the decay constant, it is the number of atoms present. So since n is equal to n naught e power minus lambda t, if you multiply lambda on both sides, and n lambda is equal to a, the activity, and a naught is the activity at the starts from some t is equal to 0, then you can say this is the activity. So a naught e power minus lambda t. Now here it is given as initially the activity is given as 8, and after 3 hours and the activity is begins. So in this you solve this problem. This is 1 by 8 is equal to minus lambda t. So you take a log on both sides, you will get this expression. And from this lambda is equal to logarithm of natural logarithm of 2 divided by t half into t. So logarithm of 1 by 8 is log 1 minus log 8. So log 8 is this is 2 power 3. So logarithm of 2 power 3 is 3 log. So by solving this, you can calculate the t half is equal to, because this time t is given as 3, and if you substitute, t half is equal to 1 half. Or you can solve this in the other way also, because n by n is already, you know, this expression 1 by 2 whole power n. Once we multiply by n by lambda, and both numerator and denominator, then this becomes A and n. So this ratio is the same as this ratio, which is 1 by 2 whole power n, which is equal to 1 by 2 whole power 3, which is n is equal to 3. So if you know n is equal to 3, n into t power half is equal to your t. So from this t power half can be easily solved, which is 1 half. So you can use the same this expression. You can solve it very easy. Next is question number 17. Two radioactive substances A and B having decay constants 5 lambda and lambda respectively. At time t is equal to 0, they have the same number of nuclei. The ratio of the number of nuclei of A to those of B will be 1 by whole power 2 after a time interval of, there are 4 options are given. So the given values are the lambda A for the element A, the lambda A, the decay constant is given as 5 lambda, lambda B is lambda. At time t, initially at time t is equal to 0, so the number n naught A, and for the two elements the numbers are equal. At time t is also given, Na by Nb is equal to 1 by E whole square. Now according to the radioactive decay, n by n naught is equal to e power minus lambda t. Now for an element, you can first write on the expression Na divided by n0 corresponding to this element is equal to e power minus lambda A into t. For the another element Nb divided by n0b is equal to e power minus lambda t into t. Now let us find the ratio Na by Nb. Na by Nb is found to be e power minus of lambda A minus lambda B, but lambda A is given as a 5 lambda and lambda B is given as a lambda. You substitute and you finally it is reduced to e power minus 4 lambda t, but Na by Nb is given as 1 by E whole square. This is also given. So substitute value for Na by Nb, which is equal to e power minus 4 lambda times t, or this can be expressed by 1 by E whole power 4 lambda t. So equating the powers on the both sides, and you will get this 2. For left hand side the power is 2, for right hand side is 4 minus lambda, 4 lambda t. So if you equate, you will find t is equal to 1 by 2 lambda. So the option C is the correct one. Next question, the half-life of the strontium, this is a Z value is 32 and mass number is 90, is 28 years. The disintegration rate of 15 milligrams of this isotope, which is given, there are 4 values. The half-life is given as 28 years. If you multiply by the 365 days and 24 days and 60 minutes and 60 seconds. So if you multiply, you will get this is the 28. This is the number, the total number of disintegration. So this is the half the half period is expressed in terms of the second. So this is the next. Let us calculate because the number of atoms in this strontium. This is the A number is equal to 90 grams. So for if A is 90 grams, the number of atoms is equal to the Avogadro number 6.023 10 what is the number of 15 grams? So for 90 grams, this is the Avogadro number 6.023 10 So 15 milligram. So you can calculate this value, which is 1.038 in 10 power 20, which is the number. Then so here n is equal to n naught e power minus lambda t. Dn by dt is the rate of disintegration, which is equal to lambda n. So the rate of disintegration, the magnitude is dn by dt is equal to lambda n. So you need not worry about the negative sign. This lambda is given as 0.693 divided by t half into n, and this n we have already calculated. You substitute this value, and t half-life period, this is also available. You substitute, and finally it is reduced to this value 7.8 7.877 10 power 10 becquerel. So this order is 10 power 10. So the order is only given in the options. So the option B is the correct one. The next question: the masses of two radioactive substances are the same, and their half-lives are 1 year and 2 years respectively. The ratio of their activities after 6 years will be. So the solution is, now let us assume the initial total number of radioactive substances are the same. For substance 1, half-life is given 1 year. For substance 2, the half-life is 2 years. So now let us form a table. Initially at time t is equal to 0, the number is n0 total number. After 1 year, this is n0 by 2 because the half-life for the first sample is 1 year. So this is n0 by 2. In the next 1 year, n0 by 4. And the next 1 year, which is the third year, n0 by 4. After the next year, it is divided by n0 by 8 by 2, which is n0 by 18, which is the fourth year. Fifth year also n0 by 32, and for the sixth year, and n0 by 32 divided by 2, which is n0 by 4. So in that way, the first substance decays. And if you consider the second substance, and the initially both are equal, so it is n0, and the half-life is 2 years. So only after 2 years it will becomes 2, half of the previous one. So n0 by 4. In the fourth year it is n0 by 4. For the sixth year it is n0 by 4. Now the activity, the rate of disintegration, dN by dt is lambda n. The activity is dN by dt, which is equal to lambda n. So dN by dt is equal to, the lambda is given as 0.694 divided by the half-life period into here n1 is equal to, what is n1, which is the n0 by 16. So after the sixth year it becomes 64. For the second sample, the activity is lambda 2 n2, again 0.693 by half-life period for the second sample, and here the number of atoms after 6 years is equal to n0 by 2. So now let us find the ratio A1 by A2. So if you find this ratio, here this is T half of B divided by T half of A, so which is 2 years and 1 year, and here this is the n0 will be cancelled, and if you divide these numbers, you will get 8 by 64. So finally, if you simplify, you will get 1 by 4. This is option C. So A1 by the ratio A1 by A2 is equal to 1 by 4. The next question is: a piece of burnt wood of mass 20 grams is found to have a C14 activity 4 decays per second. How long has the tree that this wood belonged to be dead? Given the half-life period for C14 is 5730 years. So the half-life is given. So there are 4 options are given here. Now let us calculate the decay constant for the carbon 14. Lambda is equal to 0.693 divided by T half. T half is given as for carbon 14 5730. So if you have to convert this into seconds, and once if you substitute, you will get the decay constant is the number of decays per second. That can be calculated as 3.83 in 10 power minus 12 seconds. Now to find the number of carbon 14 nuclei in 20 grams. So for 20 grams if we want to calculate, because the atomic number is for the carbon 12, this is for 12 grams, the atomic number is 6.023. So for carbon 12, this is A is 12. So for 12 atomic number, so So 12 grams, the number of, this is the Avogadro number, 6.923 in 23. So for 20 grams, if you find this number is found to be 10 power 24, then this ratio, number of carbon 14 divided by number of carbon 12, this ratio is a constant number present in the atmosphere, which is 1.3 in 10 power minus. So this, you have to remember this number for the calculation. So this ratio is a constant, so which is found to be 1.3 in 10 power minus 12. So using this one, the number of carbon 14 is equal to 1.3 in 10 power minus 2 into 10 power 24 that we have already previously calculated. Once you substitute, this value is 1.2 in 10 power 12. Now initial activity of the sample, activity is equal to lambda times NR. So you know the value of NR, you have just calculated, and you know the decay constant. Once if you substitute, this is 5 decay per second. Now the age of the sample can be calculated from the sample. R is equal to R naught e power minus lambda t. So e power minus lambda t is equal to R by R naught, or t is equal to 1 by lambda. So once we take a logarithm on both sides and we will find the t. T is 1 by lambda logarithm of R naught by R. R is equal to 4 decays per second, which is given. R naught we have calculated, this is a 5 decay per second. You substitute this value and you can find the t, and the t is found to be 1848. So this is the this is the life of the tree that was decayed before. So this is the total number of years. Actually, so this tree would have been dead in the year after the year 1840 years ago. So this is option. This is correct option. The next problem. The radioactive nucleus P and Q in a given sample decay into a stable nucleus are at time t is equal to 0. The number of P species are 4 N0 and that of Q are N0. Half-life of P for conversion to R is 1 minute, whereas that of Q is 2 minutes. So this is 2 minutes and here this is 1 minute. Initially there are no nuclei of R present in the sample. When number of nuclei of P and Q are equal, the number of nuclei of R present in the sample would be. So there are 4 options. Now the solutions, so this is given P 4 N0 for the sample Q, this is N0. The half-life is given for P sample is 1 minute and for the Q sample is 2 minutes. Now let after time t, the number of nuclei of P and Q are equal, and therefore let us use this expression. N by N0 is equal to half times N, where N is the period. So for sample P, N at a function of t divided by N0 for the sample P is equal to half into t divided by t half of the sample P, which is equal to, since t half for P is equal to 1, therefore half into t power 1. So N of t is equal to 4 times N0 of t. So this can be easily evaluated. For another sample Q, N of t at Q divided by N0 of Q is equal to half into t divided by t half of B, and this is given as t half of B is equal to 2 hours. Therefore Nt of Q is equal to N0 into half power t by 2, and now these two are equal. N of t at P is equal to this for at time t, both the numbers are equal. So now let us equal the two numbers, and if we solve this one, you find that the t is equal to 4 minutes. Now here the number N of t at P is equal to, so let us use this expression. and here you substitute for t, this is equal to 4, and once if you find this value is found to be n0/4. At time 4 minutes, n of t of q is calculated as n0/4. So these two can be calculated. So the number of nuclei of R is equal to the previous number is equal to 4 nr and minus nr. So this is the amount that you have to subtract for the sample P. For the sample Q, previously it is originally it is nr, and again nr 4 will be decay. So n0 minus nr/4 is the number of nuclei present at time t. Now once if you add the two expressions, and you get this is 9/2 n0. So this is your option, this option D. So this is the your correct option. So the number of nuclei of R present in the sample will be 9/2 n0. So these are so far we have discussed many problems in nuclear physics, and particularly in radioactivity we have discussed many problems. All these problems are very much useful for your NET and JEE examination.